Oh,
There we
there we
go.
go.
I know.
I know. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
y'all.
morning.
Great.
Yes, y'all, I've already had my full coffee allocation for the day, and now I'm on to my favorite, the lemon tea, Spindrift.
Ooh,
Have you had that, Grace? It's
I
so
have
good.
not.
Oh
Great.
my gosh. At Harris Teeter.
That
Yeah,
looks
it's the best.
good.
It's the best. Yeah, it's so good. They're amazing. It's all it is just seriously, it's tea and lemon.
It's so good.
I'm drinking lemon tea. That's
There you
what
go.
I'm
I
drinking.
mean, it's fantastic. Yeah, makes me
Out
so
of my
happy.
Reed's cup of the
It's a
graphic.
keeper. That's exactly right. Well, so Grace, have you gotten some rest this week? Because oh my gosh, you had the busiest week ever last week with Big Rock.
Yes. Not really. But that's okay. I'm trying to catch up. So everything that I, didn't get to work on during Big Rock Week now got put off to this week, which is fine.
Yeah.
So I'm getting there.
Good.
I'm hoping this weekend I'll get some rest.
And so Grace, tell everybody what exactly were you in charge of as far as the photography at Big Rock?
So last summer, they kind of switched a lot of things, especially, that was right after Corona hit the news and they were having to change everything. So last summer, or yes, not this past summer, but the summer before, right after Corona, they had me do their photography, and they had a couple years ago when I first started, there were a couple of different photographers that they had, and they kind of like stripped it down to the necessities.
Sure.
When Corona happened, because they didn't know like basically how much money they were going to have or if boats were going to fish or anything. So they kind of went back to the drawing board with photographers, and then they just had me two Big Rocks ago, and then this past Big Rock, it was myself, and then they brought on Dylan Ray. He used to work for the newspaper.
Yeah.
So we kind of just tag teamed it, and I was in charge of like the weigh station. Like I had to be at the weigh station, like making sure I got those shots of the fish when they came in, and whatever else they needed. I was just
You
there
were
doing photography for the Big Rock.
So cool. You did the best job. I mean, I love seeing your photos.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing.
You
You did a fantastic job.
You were everywhere at every time. I mean, of course, you were at the weigh station.
I'm running.
Too, I was like,
yeah, you've got to be exhausted. I mean, you've got to be exhausted.
Amazing.
So, guys, so I feel like people are joining us now, y'all. If you're joining us this morning for Coffee with MC, thank you. We have the incredibly talented Grace Bell here with us this morning, and we just thought it would be really fun to have Grace on. Number one, we want to make sure that everybody is aware that she is right here in Morehead City. Grace is an incredible photographer, and she has an art business, Grace Bell Art. And so we want to learn more about those, but also y'all, I just think it's so fascinating. Grace is so young and is an entrepreneur. And so what a cool person to learn from, kind of what that journey has been like for her and what's on the horizon. So thank you for being here, Grace.
Thank you. It's such an honor. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Thank you. And so Grace, obviously you've got your photography business, right? And then you also tell us a little bit about your art, which I think your website is really easy. It's gracebellart.com.
Yep. gracebellart.com. Yep.
Tell us a little bit. Your art is so cool. It's so recognizable.
Thank you.
It's just so awesome.
So it's what I use is acrylic paint and resin or epoxy, which it's really sweet for this area because it's all waterproof. And I also use local sand in a lot of my pieces. So one of my most popular pieces that I have on my website is like state cutouts. So obviously for around here, like North Carolina cutouts, and then I use the local sand to make the beach. Cool. Which is really cool because it's part of the beach. It's a piece of the beach that you can take with you, whether you're local or if you're sending it to family or friends who aren't at the beach and wish that they were. That's kind of a fun way to, bring the beach to them. Yeah.
Show us, do you have a little piece right there that you can show us?
Kind of what, my phone case.
The waves, y'all. Have you seen, yes, there's your phone case.
Cool.
Have y'all seen this everywhere, y'all? It's these waves, and they're on, phone cases. I know Sally has this awesome hairbrush that has it on there. Ornaments, all kinds of stuff, furniture.
It goes on everything.
Yeah, it's so cool. So Grace, tell us a little bit about, for both businesses, just generally speaking, how did this get started, and kind of what did it take for you to have the mindset to say, first of all, Grace, how old are you? Sorry.
I just turned 20 in May.
Lord. Wow.
I'm no longer a teenager.
You go, girl.
Grace. Okay, so Grace just turned 20. And so, obviously you have these talents in photography and your art. And so what I really want to know from you is what went into the decision to say, this is what I'm going to focus on now. The time is now for me to do this, and I'm doing it.
So with photography, I started at a really young age. I think being homeschooled, I was around like a lot of moms that I was around did photography as like a side job, and I was always really intrigued by that. Um, and anyway, so I was really interested at photography, and going way back, like when I was really little, when we had Polaroids, I was like obsessed with Polaroids. And if my dad let me take a picture with Polaroid, I was like, over the moon excited about that. So it kind of goes
Polaroids
way
are
back
awesome. Yes.
to Polaroids.
Yeah. Instant
Um,
gratification. What could be better?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when I was like, I want to say I was 12, my dad got me a real camera for a birthday and Christmas present. And that's really what made me like go full force, like just dive into it. Cause I knew I loved it. But I didn't have the right tools. And I think he knew, like, he knew that if I had the tools that I would just like throw myself into it.
Go for it. Yeah.
So that's really like for photography, that's what just set me off. Just shooting like anything and everything was basically just my dad's decision to honestly just basically believe in me like as a kid. I mean, I was a kid when he got that for me. So he got me that camera, and I've been shooting ever since. Like I remember, I think it must have been the same year because I was so thrilled. I did a family photo shoot for like just friends, and I think they paid me like $40, and I was like, oh, this is amazing.
That's so good. And Grace, I love too that it was your dad, right? I mean, it was your dad. You were trying to figure out something to make for your dad for Christmas, which is how the art art business started.
Yeah.
Right? So we need to give a shout out to your dad that he
Yes,
was
I try to as much as I can.
And that was just what, a couple years ago, 2018, 2 or 3 years ago?
Yes. When I first started this art form, it was 2018. I was trying to make him a Christmas present. Yeah. And he grew up in the promised land and surfed every day of his life and loves the water and passed that down to me. So, and I always make him presents because I don't know. I always say this is a typical guy thing. I'm not really sure if it is, but in my world, it definitely is. Guys just get what they want. And like the things that they like are so specific that you're just lost trying to
you can possibly try and make something.
Yes. So that's my only option. So anyway, that's what I did for him. Man, I guess a couple years ago, I guess it was like 2.5 years ago now. And it's just been snowballing ever since.
Grace,
go ahead, Meg.
I have a selfish question. What was do you remember what you made him specifically? What was it?
It was the cutting board, and it was terrible. It was
That's
terrible.
Awesome.
I did not know what I was doing.
It's a collector's item now, Grace. I love that. So what I really want to make sure we get to, Grace, is some of these questions about kind of your decisions to be an entrepreneur. So as these things kind of snowball, has it just taken on a life of its own and you've just decided to kind of let yourself go with it? Or have you made some conscious decisions where you've said, this is really where I'm going to focus my time? I mean, what I want to get to is I want to understand kind of what's gone into that for you, and then what advice you would give to anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur, no matter at what age they are.
So, I mean, I would definitely say like it has kind of taken over, whether I, wanted it to or not, which I definitely do. So I'm thankful for that. But there was a point when it was right when in March when Corona like hit the news. I was deciding my art was really starting to pick up and get busy. And I was starting to get really nervous because I didn't know, am I going to stay home or am I going to go to college? Because that would have been my freshman year of college. And I just prayed a lot about it because I didn't know. And my parents were like, you know what, there's really not a right answer. Like, it's just what you want to do. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was so torn. There's, a lot of pressure to go off to college in this day and age. And a lot of people act like, you aren't educated if you don't have a college education.
Sure.
Not everyone, but a lot of people, feel like there's a need to get a college education and other people don't. And I didn't know. I was like, I don't know what to think. I just want to do whatever God wants me to do. So I just prayed about it a lot. And then in March when it was like the morning before all of that news came out about the virus, that I was like, I need to apply to colleges if I'm going to go. Like, there are deadlines, And then when that came out on the news, I was just like, okay, God, that was my
that's
song.
So interesting.
I'm going to stay home because nobody knew it was going to happen, Like, nobody knew if college was going to be open or anything. So, and that was like the best decision I have ever made, just to stay home and focus on my business and just grow it and see what can happen.
And to be clear, your business is, let's
Businesses,
plural that.
yes,
Let's plural that one.
yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Photography and art. That's for
Right.
sure. I mean, I still do a lot of photography.
Yeah.
The thing that I really like about it, Grace, like even though you're not in college, you're learning just as much, I think,
Oh,
running your own
yes.
business. I mean, Lord knows you know more than I do about finances and running a business and marketing and stuff like that,
And
because
that
you're in it
is
every
like
day.
a common thing that people complain about, like not knowing how to do taxes or do whatever, you know, because they don't teach that in school.
Yep.
I guess if you were going to become like an accountant, they would teach you
Sure.
that, but that's not a gen ed. So
No, I was never in any danger of going to school for that. Yeah.
Either.
That is definitely not my bag. So Grace, let's go back to what are some things that some advice that you would give to somebody who's thinking of starting a business, or anything that you wish you'd known, a year ago? Well, guys, even more than a year ago now, right? But when things really started to take off, what do you wish you had known?
So many things. The main thing is to just like not to doubt like yourself at all. Like just throw yourself into it. And I did that in a lot of ways, but there were like, I mean, it's hard not to doubt yourself. So I feel like that's just, honestly, that's something daily that you have to work on. I think honestly, no matter what you do, is to just encourage yourself and to surround yourself with people who are going to encourage you. That's the biggest advice I would give, is have good friends. Even if like I have one best friend and that is all like I feel like I'll ever need. Like as long as that friend's encouraging you, telling you, you got this, and gonna call you out if you're doing something that isn't good or productive, like that's what you need to do, is just surround yourself with people who care about you and want what's best for you.
That's
really
such
like
good
that.
advice. I think
Yeah.
that's such good advice. And I think that what you're saying is so true about mindset too. There's that support network, but there's also mindset. And you're right. That's not a push just when you're starting. That's a daily
That's a continual
push. And I
thing.
think, regardless of what type of role you're in or what
Mhm.
you're doing, I think that's so true, that I forget that sometimes that it's, you can't just get there one day and expect to still be there the next day. You got to,
Right.
you don't
Every
necessarily
single
get
day.
start back over, but you have to build it back
Right.
up.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
so good. I love that. So, okay, we're going to do, Grace, a little rapid fire. Meg, or will you
I'm ready.
run point on the rapid fire? Great. And so, Grace, the concept here is just for you to kind of say the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
All right, Grace. So we have a couple. The first one is, we are curious if you have any books, whether it be business related, self-help, anything that have really hit you in the feels that you really like.
Oh man, I hate to say this. People are gonna probably get on me for this, but I honestly am not the biggest reader.
Hey, that is okay. That is
But man, I mean, being homeschooled especially, we read like a lot of books.
Sure.
I just finished reading a book called Gentle and Lowly. That's really good. That's sort of devotional, kind of like a devotional book. That's really
Okay.
good.
I like that.
And that's helped me like with my mindset of like, again, any doubt or just like just any doubt or fear pretty much about anything to do with work or just life. That book has helped a lot. It's just really encouraging.
And say the name of it one more time, Grace.
Gentle and Lowly.
Great. Okay. Gentle and Lowly.
I
Okay.
wish I'm blanking on the author.
Well, we'll find it and we'll put
we
it.
can
Yeah,
post it in the
we'll find it.
Yeah,
I
it's
love a
so
book.
good.
I love a book that can be applied to life and work. So that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
that's how, if I'm gonna read a book, it's gonna need to like be
Multi-purpose.
really good and multi-purpose.
I'm
Yes.
with you. Now, Grace, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Oh, I think that the best advice I've ever gotten, it's tied between two things, but probably I was told when I was very first starting out my art business, whatever you make, you can sell. Whatever you make, you can sell. And that was like really hard for me to understand when I was first told that. But now that I've grown and now that I've gotten busier, that really makes sense to me a lot more than it did when I was first told that.
Yeah.
Because I had a fear at first when I was first starting of having too much, or what if I don't sell this and I'm invested in it? I invest my time, my money, and so that has just really, like, I think of that all the time. And that helps me to just like go for it and be creative, even if you're nervous, people aren't going to like it.
Whatever
So
you think you can sell.
that would probably be the best advice.
That's really, that's good.
That is good.
It's good. It gives you, I'm sure, a sense of calm and control.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Grace, who is someone you look up to, and in one sentence, why do you look up to them?
Oh my.
I got the heavy hit. We've
There's
got the heavy
so
hitters.
many people. Gosh, how can I narrow it down? Oh my goodness.
And it can be someone you know. It can be someone you know, like that you're close to, or someone who.
I would say Nene is someone that I look up to. So I actually don't have any of my own grandparents except for my dad's mom. She's my only grandmother that's still alive. And we don't have like a super tight relationship with her. So I've never really had like grandparents, a relationship with the grandparents. And her name is Janet, but we call her Nene. And I actually babysit for her grandkids, which is how I got to know them.
Oh.
But she has been just like probably the most influential person in my life. And she's a boss lady. She's a boss lady. So I just really look up to her.
I'm sure you've learned a lot from her through osmosis. That's awesome.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Now, Grace, are you a night owl or are you a morning person?
I am neither. I'm such a grandma. I like to get a lot of sleep. But I would say I would tend to wake up early to get things done. I do not like to stay up like into the late hours of the night because I just can't.
Right.
I don't work well late at night.
I was selfishly
speaking my language. You are speaking my language.
I know. Now, final rapid fire question before our final question is, what have you done recently that you're proud of? Maybe a project or something that you're just really proud of.
I would say, there's a lot of different.
I could name a lot for you.
Where do you start? Yeah.
So there's a specific project that I brought back from Hawaii to work on. And it's a surfboard. This is sort of secret, but oh well, I just said it.
Fill it.
So it's a surfboard. It's one surfboard. So I brought the surfboard back from Hawaii and painted it. And it sold before I could even, like, it's not even public information exactly. Like, it's not on my website or my Instagram really. So I haven't even gotten it out there yet. And it sold before I could even.
That's awesome.
Get it out to the people. So that's something that I'm really excited about.
So tell me, did you put this in like under your seat or like over in the
I had to check that one. I borrowed a surfboard.
We want to see it. Will you send us pictures when it's done?
Yes, I have a couple pictures I can send to you.
Oh, please do.
Yes, I will.
Awesome.
So it's done. I just haven't, there's a whole video being made like about the trip and this board, and I'm waiting for that to get finished before I like release anything about it, because it's going to be my best friend Ashley. I brought her with me to Hawaii, so she made the video.
Send it to us so we can share it. We'd love.
That'd be awesome.
Oh my gosh, I would be so happy if you guys did that. That would be amazing.
Yes,
we love it.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you.
Now, Mary Cheatham, would you like to ask Grace our final question?
Yes. So, Grace, thank you so much for being here today. And
Thank
our
you.
final question for you on this Friday morning is, what is saving your life right now?
Honestly, coffee right now. Reed's coffee.
I love that.
Reed's coffee is giving me life.
That's such a good answer. That's such a good answer. You are still in recovery for sure. Coffee saves my life every day, but I know you're still in recovery from your big week at the Big Rock, catching up on all your projects. But Grace, you're just incredible. You're amazing. And we're so grateful that you're here with us today. And thank you for sharing with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for
awesome,
having
Grace.
me.
Please send us that video.
Yes, I will send that for sure.
Okay. Thanks, Grace.
Bye,
All right,
Grace.
thank you guys so much.
Yeah. I'm so impressed by her.
Man, I mean, I when I was 20,
I was
no,
not doing that when I was 20.
But the thing is, I don't believe for a second that you didn't totally have it together when you were 20. You
I
cannot.
certainly did not.
I'm going to call Mary and ask.
Oh my gosh, no, I certainly did not. I kind of had it together, but also did not have two thriving businesses like Grace.
Well, I mean, that's remarkable. You're right. That's remarkable. Yeah.
Now, yes, it was. So I'm curious what's saving your life today.
You know what? I think one of the things that's saving my life has been I've had so much fun being involved in these People's Choice Awards for Carteret Curated. It's just been a ball, and it's been really neat. Yeah, it's been really neat how people have come together to support these small businesses, and you know, I think I'm really excited about our guide. You know, one of the things that I didn't expect to feel was to feel like, oh man, because you wanted everybody to get the most votes, you know, and so it's been so interesting to watch so many great small businesses. I didn't really think it through that I was going to feel like, oh man, I wanted everybody to get the most. And so what I love is that we're going to create this guide to local small businesses that's going to celebrate all of them and create basically for folks who are visiting or live here. I mean, I learned about businesses through this process that I didn't know about before. So that way, if you need something or there's a category that you're interested in, you can go and learn about all the different options so that it really, I hope will help to support all these folks, because there are such wonderful people who own these great businesses in our community. So I've loved it. It's been eye-opening and fun.
Me too. And it's wild how many were actually submitted. So we've been putting this guide together. It's 40 pages long, 40. And it is full of information about everything, where to go get coffee, where to have your next event, everything.
Yeah. And so how's that going to work? So we're going to do the digital version first and then the print version later, because we got to have time to have it printed.
Yes, all 40 pages of thousands of them. So we're going to have the digital guide ready for the 4th of July weekend, and we'll blast that out to everyone who voted, to all the small businesses, everything like that. And then we're going to shoot that over to print. And then maybe a week or two later, we'll have those in our hands and we'll distribute those when we get them. I'm excited.
Yay! Thank you for all your hard work on that, Meg. Man,
it has been so fun. It has been so fun. And something that has been saving my life and that I'm really looking forward to for next week is right along with the People's Choice, is that we are going to feature the give category. We're going to do 3 nonprofits and 3 people who were nominated kind of as role models in our community. We're going to do kind of 6 per week. So 3 nonprofits and 3 people, highlighting those folks on our social media. There are hundreds. So this is going to take a couple months to get through all of them, but it was really special to read through these. Again, I said this before, but I will go to the spreadsheet where we tallied the votes, and I will go and read people's explanations whenever I need a little pick-me-up, because they were so special.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's great. So that's it. I'm pumped about it.
And we need to give a big shout out to our Carteret Curated team.
Yes. Oh my word. Andy, our intern Grace, it has been so fun. It has been so fun.
Yes.
And a big old learning experience as well. We're taking notes for next year when we do this, and hopefully for all the years to come. So
that's exactly right. That's right. And Grace has been amazing. So
amazing. All right, MC, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you right here next Friday.
Sounds perfect. See you then. Thanks. Bye.